Welcome back to Adam Has a Podcast. It's episode 15, and I hope everyone out there had a fantastic Easter, a 4-day weekend if you live in the UK. That's 4 days off work for the regular civilian. Not 4 days off for me though. Let's talk about it, shall we? Friday, starting the weekend, and I started it at Creatures of the Night Comedy Club in Manchester. Now this it's basically an independent comedy club. It started as one night a week in a venue, and then slowly but surely they started to be like, well, what do you do down here other nights of the week? Nothing. Well, can we get it every night of the week then? And then, can we make some kind of an agreement? And then they built it from there, from having it in one place 5 or 7 nights a week. They ended up building it to, obviously there's only 7 nights in a week, to the point where now they do the pro shows on a weekend where it's maybe a higher ticket price, but you're getting a higher quality of acts. And that's where I was, Friday night, Easter weekend. It was super no vacancy. It was super sold out. There was a waiting list for people to get in as well. People outside who couldn't get in. It was a whole thing. And I'll be honest, as a comedian, you love performing in those kind of environments because before the show starts, there's a vibe straight away. Because everyone knows, right? If you've not got a ticket, you can't get in. So straight away, if you're turning up, I've got one of the hottest tickets in town right now. This place is sold out. And I'm seeing people who are, I'm on the waiting list. I'll just wait outside to see if anyone drops out. Because that does happen as well. The first ever comedy show I went to, that happened. That was in San Francisco, seeing Mick Foley, the wrestler, doing his hour of stand-up. And that was sold out. I just waited outside. The show was about to start. A couple of people hadn't come. They're like, okay, you can go in. There's one free there. Okay, they've not turned up. We'll let another one in. And that's how I got in. So you get this vibe. The people are buzzing to get in. They're excited. The place is packed. It's the weekend. It's bank holiday. It's got all the ingredients for a great show. And Howard Anstock was hosting it. Now, I'm going to say something about Howard. I don't think he'll mind me telling you. Howard doesn't MC much. So he was a little bit curious about how it was going to go beforehand. This is what he was thinking beforehand. I was fully confident. I'm pretty sure you're going to do a good job, mate. Hey, mate, I know you don't do this on a regular basis, hosting, because hosting is slightly different, but you're going to be completely fine. Not just fine, I think you're going to do a good job. And he went out there, and he did do a really good job. He went out there, hosted up the audience into this beautiful energy where they couldn't wait for people to come on the stage and get involved in it. And Tom Lawrenson went up first. I really like Tom Lawrenson as a comedian and as a person, to be honest with you. But as a comedian, I look at Tom Lawrenson and he does stuff that I don't even know how he writes it. I remember the first time I ever saw him was a few years ago. Molly McGuinness ran this gig on a Sunday, I think it was, in a small pub in Manchester. And I never heard of him before, never seen him before. He walked up, and I could tell he was more experienced than me as soon as he came in. So I was like, okay, he's been going a while. That's why I've not heard of him, because maybe he just doesn't do the open mics anymore. And I'm seeing what he's doing, and I'm like, this is hilarious. And I don't know how he's come up with any of it. It's like alternative, but then there's some more mainstream style mixed in there as well. Very funny stuff. He went up there, boom, crowd loving it, great stuff. We have a break. Well, there's 2 lads on the front row. They've been a little bit noisy, I'll be honest. You've been a little bit disruptive, but the room is so good. You cannot kill the vibe. Honestly, it was so good of a crowd. I went on in the middle. I had a really, really fun time with it. The 2 lads again, but piping up a little bit, but they weren't overly too bad. Mine overall went very, very pleasantly, let's just say. I was very happy with how it went. Then the headline act's turn. It's Eshaan Akbar. Now, Eshaan is someone who, I've got a lot of respect for Eshaan, and is someone that, I remember a few years ago, I did this thing at Leicester Comedy Festival called Circuit Breakers, which is kind of like a scholarship thing for one weekend. You get to come to the festival for free. They fund everything, your travel, your hotel. They'll pay you to do a couple of shows. They'll get you on nationwide radio. They'll get you some headshots. They'll get some clips for online and all that kind of stuff. And he was the host of that. So he's not just someone that I respect in comedy. He's someone that he's been in that position where he's steering the ship. He's the pro comedian on this lineup, and I feel really lucky to be here. And he's someone that helped me to do well that weekend as well. So, all that being said, Ishan then gets up and absolutely volleys it. He has a great time of it as well. That show is the best. I've been at Creatures maybe 20, 30 times, maybe more. That was the best I've ever seen Creatures. It was absolutely on fire. They've got the footage of that show. That's probably one that I'm going to ask them and say, listen, can you send me that footage? I'm going to start to use that footage. Maybe as my my little reel that I send to potential promoters about, trying to get on lineups and stuff like that. So yeah, I had a great time of it at Creatures. Saturday comes around. Now Saturday morning, Friday, walking back, there's a pain in my right ankle, or at least I thought it was my ankle. I'm struggling to walk on it, but not struggling to the point where I can't walk, but struggling to the point where I cannot walk at the speed I usually walk at. Anyway, I wake up Saturday morning, and there's a little lump on the bottom of my foot, and I'm thinking, oh no, what is this? Please don't be anything serious. Now, luckily, I don't think it is anything too serious, but it's still stopping me from walking. So Saturday afternoon, should I say, about, what time was my call time? About 1:30, something like that. I was filming for this decent-sized YouTube channel, and we were filming a game show. I'm not going to say too much about it yet, but when it's out, and I can talk about it more afterwards. But I went and did this game show in Manchester. That was fun. It's a game show that I've actually seen the clips of online for ages. So then when he approached me to do it, I watched them all in full, and I was like, okay, this looks like it's going to be a lot of fun for me. And then when he told me he was going to be in Manchester filming it instead of London, I thought, perfect, I'll do it that weekend. It came around Easter weekend, went there, filmed it. There was people there that I've seen online for years. Rashi Flex, bro. Rashi Flex. I don't know if you know him, but he did that video like, do you know that video where he's talking about, I installed Noz in my cousin's car, innit? And I'm going, I say, yeah, you're smashing it, bro. That guy. Don't know if you've seen it. It's a really funny little sketch he put online years ago now. We're probably talking over 10 years ago. It's really funny. So he was there. Tez Ilyas was there. Tez is also someone that I've looked up to and I've respected for a long time in stand-up. He's another British Pakistani from the north who does stand-up comedy. So I bumped into him there as well. It was good to spend a bit of time with him outside of the stand-up world where you're only gigging and you're only doing shows. This was in a different environment. This is where we've got the thing in common because we're the two stand-up comedians. So we're kind of looking at each other going, this is interesting, isn't it? It's a bit out of my universe, this, isn't it? That all this YouTube-y stuff and the way that everything was set up and the studio and all that kind of thing. So yeah, very interesting either way. And enjoyed the experience. That's probably going to drop some point. I think next week that will do. Oh, I filmed 2, by the way. I filmed 2 of them. So the first one went so good. He asked me, he said, listen, the guy running it, do you want to stay behind and do another? I said, yeah, okay, I can do it. Oh, also, I was on 30% battery when I left the house because I just hadn't planned ahead. Thinking that I'd be coming home afterwards because he asked me to stay and do the second one. Stayed and did the second one. Then as soon as that had finished, I was thinking, right, I'm going to have to get back into Manchester, go get food and then get the train to Chorley. In the end, they ended up feeding us as well. So, okay, sorted. They fed us, eat, ended up getting the train straight from Manchester all the way to Chorley. Then it's my gig Saturday night, second gig of the weekend, Manford's Comedy Club at Chorley Theatre. I managed to get there about 8:30, something like that. So the show's already started. There's a woman that I used to work with and she'd messaged me being like, Adam, I'm going to come to the show. I'm going to bring like loads of my family as well because we're from Chorley so I can get a good group of us together for you. I said, okay, brilliant, that's great, bring them all down. As I'm leaving Manchester, I'm on 6% battery. By the time I get to the venue, I'm on 2% battery, so I message go, listen, Jez, I don't know if I'm going to be able to see you after this show, but I'm just letting you know now, I'm only on 2% battery, so if you're messaging me afterwards and you don't hear from me, that's why. So what I didn't want to happen is, I didn't want her to be messaging me, because this is what happens, when people come and see you, who are your friends who you know from outside of stand-up, they'll message you and be like, oh, are you going to come out so we can have a chat with you? And then you're like, yeah, I will, I'll come out now, but I've not got any battery, so I don't want her messaging me that after the show, after I've been on stage and my phone's flat, then I can't see you. So anyway, as I get there, I sent her that message. So I think, okay, that's one weight off my chest. Then the MC's already been on this, the first act on stage, and I'm listening and I'm thinking, okay, I recognise some of this material. I think I must have seen him on TV. a while ago, because I used to watch a lot of stand-up comedy on TV, like in the mid-2000s. So I think I seen him on TV back then, this guy. So that was interesting that I was gigging with him. Then that's it, end of the first section. Now, I had heard, and Ishan was telling me the night before, and then Tez also told me earlier that day, he goes, the green room at the Chorley Theatre, it's called, is one of the best green rooms. It's going to have the best spread you will have. It'll have every flavour crisp you can think of. It'll have all the drinks. It'll have this. It'll have that. I thought, okay, I'm interested to see this. Bro, when I got there was an Easter egg there. Guess who was walking home with an Easter egg afterwards? This guy. Big bag of crisp. I feel like it's a bit of a faux pas, taking that stuff from the green room, not eating it there. But I thought, it's an Easter egg. It's for Sunday. It's for tomorrow. I took it. I took the Easter egg. Add that to me fee. Thank you very much. Fee's this, plus an Easter egg, plus a big pack of crisp. And I even got I had 2 bottles of wine. I had one when I was there. I had one for the way home. So yeah, had a nice time with that. Had some cookies and all that. It was really, really fun. The gig itself, another absolute stormer of a gig. I had so much fun when I was on stage, and my time flew like that. It flew so quickly that before I knew it, I was having to wrap up, got off stage. Honestly, proper loved that crowd in Chorley. So I come off stage, MC goes on, thank you very much everyone, we're off for another break, we'll be back in 10-15 minutes, let's say it again for Adam Anwar, all that stuff. As soon as she comes off stage, boom, I go straight back on stage and I walk off stage the other way, and now I'm looking around the crowd for Jez, who I used to work with. She's like, Adam. I'm looking up and she's, Adam, okay. So Jez comes over. Just before she comes over, this lad comes over. He grabs me and goes, Adam, that was really good, that. Do you recognise me? And I'm looking at his face and I'm thinking, I don't recognise you whatsoever, mate. And he goes, it's me, it's Danny Whittle from school. I goes, oh my God, I've not seen Danny since he was 16. Tell you what, he don't look like a 16-year-old boy anymore. None of us do. Alhamdulillah. So it was fun to see him. And he was like, listen, my brother's bought me tickets for this because it's my stag do. And the comedy was just on here. I didn't even know you were going to be on till then. I saw the poster afterwards and I thought, bloody hell, what a coincidence. And I thought, what a small world. I mean, it's not really a small world because it's Chorley. It's the next town over from where we grew up in Bolton. But I thought, what are the chances of that? A lad that I went to school with is out on his stag do and it's at a comedy show where I'm performing. Loved that. So I had a little catch up with him. Beautiful. Then Jez came over. Had a catch up with Jez, which was good. And, it's interesting because in those environments, they want to say to you like, oh, whatever they thought of the show. And it's all positive stuff. But I want to say, I want to be like, thank you so much for coming tonight, guys, Because to me, the crowd's full, but if I'm seeing people there who I know, I'm like, this is great. I'm seeing someone that I've known for so long and you've paid money to come and see me do stand-up. I love that stuff, man. I absolutely love when that happens. So that was great as well. Then, well, first of all, walking back to the train station, that's when there's all the winds and that. I'm there with Easter egg under one arm, big bag of crisp in the other, bottle of water in my pocket, and I'm getting blown all over the shop. I'm thinking, this is ridiculous. What do I look like here to other people? I thought, I hope I don't fall over something here, get blown over or whatever, because I'd be a right meme here with all Easter egg flying all over the shop and all that. Next day, Easter Sunday. Let's talk about this one, shall we? So, I was warned beforehand by the booker. He said to me, he goes, listen, it's going to be a bit of a tough gig. Yeah, I've been there before. Bit of a tough gig. Booking you because I think you'll deal well with it. Okay, I'll come along and do it. It was in Bolton. I'm from Bolton. I don't mind going doing it, especially because it's during the day. So in theory, I could have doubled up and got a second gig in the night. I didn't in the end. I thought I'd just take me one gig, but when I took the gig booking, that's what I was thinking. Okay, so I go to the venue, and when I get there, it's the demographic of the room is mainly retired people. There's a few blokes around the age of 50 all stood around the pool table, which that's a massive red flag. Because if they stood around the pool table, that means they're probably going to keep playing pool all the way through. So one, they're not paying attention. Two, they're making noise pollution during your set. And then there's 4 little kids aged 10 and under sat next to the bar, right? So now I'm in a very tricky predicament because when I do a gig and it's a tough one like that, and they want a certain kind of rowdiness from me, I'll give them it. I'll give them the rowdy behaviour. I'll dive into it and I'll be, I'll match their energy. I'm very happy to do that. However, you can't do that if there's 4 small children in the audience. So I had to make a decision. And I was going, right, I could come here and there's children here, so I could not swear. I could not talk about anything that's inappropriate for children to listen to. And I'm not going to do very well. I'm going to do very average, to be honest. Or I can go, do you know what? Let's give these people a good show. Let's go balls to the wall and let's just swear and talk about all this blue language. Obviously, I went for the first one because for me, it doesn't matter how well I do on the night. I would rather not do well, but not be swearing in front of children and not talking about themes that I don't believe that children should be listening to. And I don't ever want to be the guy who's responsible for kids hearing this kind of stuff. So I'm not going to say it. If I put stuff on TikTok and social media and kids see it then, I can't control that. I don't know who's going to stumble upon this. I don't know who's going to share it to who. But when they're physically in front of me, I will keep stum, I will not swear, and I will take away all the blue kind of language, right? So, I do the gig. And it's very tough. It's very tough. It's difficult because of all that's going on, right? It's almost unplayable for me because I'm not willing to swear and I'm not willing to talk about that kind of stuff. And I do okay. I get a few laughs here and there, but I don't do well. I don't. I probably did about a 3 out of 10, maybe a 4 if you want to be generous. But I didn't do amazing, like I say, handcuffs and all that. So, but meanwhile, there were definitely laughs. I remember there's a guy sat down here on my right-hand side who was wearing a St Helens rugby top. He was definitely laughing. The guy was a bus driver. He was definitely laughing. There's 3 ladies from Bradford. They were laughing. So I know there was laughs. Specifically, these people, I remember them in my head. Obviously, having a not-so-great gig, I want to be honest about it, though. And I'll be very truthful about it. So, after every gig, I put a little write-up on my Facebook comedy profile. Okay. Did it for the last 2, did it for every gig I've ever done. Did this one. Put a little picture up, which usually I would film my set. There was nowhere to film it, so I audio recorded it in my pocket. Now, when I film it, I'll take a screenshot of that and I'll use a picture of me on stage as the picture. Okay. Failing that, if I can't, because I was audio recording it in my pocket, usually like the promoter, they'll take pictures and I'll use their picture. They didn't take pictures either. So I just used a picture from outside the venue. I didn't name the place, but yeah, I used a picture so you could see the name of it. This is where the madness starts to happen. So I put a very honest post on saying, listen, I'm on a hat trick of great gigs here. I've had 2 fantastic gigs this weekend. I've now a Sunday, Easter Sunday, daytime gig rolls around. Now, anyone who's a comedian will see that and their alarm bells will be flashing. The red flags will be waving. They'll be like, oh, okay, what's happening here? This ain't going to be great news here. And then I wrote, to be fair to the promoter, they warned me that it could be a rough gig. I might have put rough, I might have put tough, whichever one I put. But this one was awkward. And then I wrote about the demographic in the room. I said the majority of the room were retired and there was a few young kids in the room. And the reason why I put that is to give context for why it was an awkward gig. And then I put extra context at the end that one of my jokes, I mentioned Amir Khan. Amir Khan, he's from Bolton, and I mentioned Amir Khan. And one guy goes, like literally, he stands up and he goes, who? Folds his arm, he's like this, he's gone bright red and he's just facing the wall. And I explained that exactly, that happened during my set. And it made it even more awkward that he had that kind of reaction. And he wanted to put on a show for everyone in the room of, I don't like this guy, I'm going to do this in front of everyone. Okay, you can do that, but I can also talk about why it affects me having a good gig, right? Okay. So I put this on Facebook. The next day, I'm getting notifications of someone tagging this lady in the post. Don't think anything of it. Then I get a very, very abusive message. Okay, the message goes something along the lines of this: you were crap, you were the worst one of the bunch, you shouldn't get paid, everyone hated you, I had so many complaints about you, you've got no future in comedy. That was the gist of the abusive message that I got. So, and I replied back very kindly, and I said, listen, there's no need for the abuse. I think that if you read back what I wrote, you will find it was a fair assessment of what happened. And that was it. That's all I responded back with, right? Okay. This lady then sends me another message, basically being like, I can't remember what she wrote in the second one, but she's basically like, I think you should delete that post. You're not going to have any kind of future in comedy if this is how you behave. And I was trying to be very polite with her, and I sent her a big, and she goes, you shouldn't be slating children, you shouldn't be slating the regulars. And I wrote this like long response back saying I didn't slate the children whatsoever. In fact, it was one of the kids' birthdays, and I wrote this in the thing back to her. I said, I even wished one of the kids happy birthday, because when part of my set I mentioned it being when my birthday was, and he went, oh, it's my birthday today. So I said, oh, happy birthday. I even included him in it. In my post, I didn't slate the kid. I just mentioned that there was kids there, and there was other people there, so it was very awkward to do comedy because I was trying. They both, obviously, it was suitable to do two completely different things for both of these groups. Even when I was doing clean jokes and I just mentioned Amir Khan, it upset this one guy, right? And that's how he behaved, right? So I'm not slating how he reacted. I didn't say this, I didn't say that. I just put the facts, right? Anyway, after that, she stopped responding to me. However, alongside this comment she'd sent to me, she'd put this kind of, almost the same comment on that post, right, for everyone to see. And part of what she said is like, now it's my turn to say publicly what I think of you. And I'm sat there thinking, going, listen, I've not said anything bad about your pub. I've not told people not to go. I've not slandered your pub. I've literally just said that there was retired people there and there's small children there. And she's saying, there's going to be small children. It's Easter Sunday. I said, yeah, I never said that they shouldn't be allowed to be there. I'm just explaining why it's a tough gig to do. Anyway, we're going around in circles now, me and this woman. She writes this comment in here. A few people join in who weren't there, might I add, who weren't there, saying, you should have tailored your set, you should have done this, instead of mourning that you weren't liked. And I was saying, listen, I'm not mourning that I weren't liked. I've not put anything about whether they liked me or not. I'm just saying I was awkward and I found it a tough gig to do. I'm just talking about me. I'm not talking about, oh, these people didn't like me and this is why they didn't like me, and I'm not slating or slandering them. I'm just saying this. And I even said this to them. I said, listen, you're slandering me here. Publicly, you're trying to ruin my reputation. You even saying I'm unprofessional and stuff like that. And I'm still being nice to you. I think that's why she stopped responding. I think she realised that she weren't getting an argument out of me. I was just being neutral and genuine in the conversation. Anyway, this is a whole thing. Then people started to pile in the comments and start to like defend me, saying that like, I've seen him before and I thought he was really good, and someone else said I've seen him multiple times and I think he's a decent fella as well. And then there's people piling on saying that they've been to that pub and they didn't enjoy it, and I'm thinking, oh, you're talking about me having to delete I think you should delete your comment, because usually my things that I put on Facebook, they don't get a lot of attention, because that's kind of not what they're for. It's more of like it's more like a journal for myself to just keep up with what I've been doing. I post out what I've been doing, and then anyone who's in the world of stand-up who has any kind of interest can just monitor it that way and see the kind of gigs that I'm doing. I think she thinks that I just put this as a one-off thing, and I hate this thing, and I didn't even say anything like that. So anyway, all these people came to my defence. If she hadn't have put that comment and generated all this conversation around me and people coming to my defence and people slandering the pub, it would have got no attention, it would have got no traction. But because she did that, I genuinely think she's made herself look worse than me, because for everything that she says, she's trying to say that, oh, you know, people won't book you because they think you're unprofessional. I don't think she realises that people see, like, I think people in stand-up would look at that gig and not give it much credibility whatsoever, and they look at the other stuff I did this weekend and be like, those are the kind of gigs that you need to be doing well at, and you did do well at both of them, and the feedback, the public feedback on the first one is, on the Manfred's Comedy Club one, someone publicly put like, oh, thank you so much, you're a real talent, or something along those lines. And I usually don't like talk about these things publicly, because I feel like everyone will like sing their own praises to the rooftops and stuff like that, so it doesn't feel as legitimate when you do it yourself, so I try not to talk about it. But either way, that was my weekend of gigs. 2 absolutely phenomenal gigs, 2 all-timers that I really, really enjoy. And then a gig that I really wish I didn't do, to be completely honest with you. And again, I didn't need to do it. I did it because I thought it'd be a nice thing to do, but hey ho, it is what it is. What have I got coming up this week though, guys? I've got coming up this week Altrincham. I'm going to be at Easy Cafe Thursday. As you see this, it's probably be a bit too late for you, because I think this is going to launch about 8:30 tomorrow night. I'm going to be at Easy Cafe in Altrincham, and I'm going to be hosting the show. I'm looking forward to it. Jordan Ducharme, I believe, will be closing. I've looked at the lineup, and it looks like he'd be the closer for that gig. And I'm really looking forward to it. Jordan's someone who, like, I've known for a long time now. I've known for about 7 years. And we used to gig together quite a lot when I was first starting on the open mics and stuff like that. When I was booking gigs, I'd book him to come and do them. And then now we're in that similar zone where we're going for the same spot, so we don't get to see each other as much. So it's going to be really nice to see him and work together for a change, because usually, like I say, usually we don't really get to work together, so that's going to be nice. What else have I been up to this week? Okay, let's talk about some other stuff that I've been up to. I watched Scream 7 finally. I was talking about this in some of my first episodes of the podcast that I wanted to see it. Well, now it's out on streaming on some of the platforms there, so I watched Scream 7 and I was a bit disappointed. It wasn't great. Now, the whole Scream franchise, it seems to... They're trying to relaunch it for the 3rd time. Scream 4 was a relaunch, Scream 5 was a relaunch, and now Scream 7 is also a relaunch. And it was okay, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it as a watch because I love Scream so much, and Neve Campbell's fantastic as Sidney Prescott, and what's she called? Monica from Friends is Gail Weathers, brilliant, I love it. But overall, it was just like, it's fine. I love Scream, so it's good for me, but you're not really giving me like a fun, entertaining film. For something that's on its 7th one, it really started to feel like what I would call like landfill horror. The kind of thing that like would have come out and released a load of DVDs, and then people would have seen it and been like, oh, I don't think I'm going to keep all of the DVD. Now, don't get me wrong, Scream 8, I would love to be in Scream 8. That might be a goal for me, Scream 8, Scream 9, whatever. And apparently at the box office, Scream 7 did the best out of any of the films ever. I think it's already grossed more than any of the others have grossed. So, like, it's in an incredible position. But, I wish it was a better movie. Like, because there's a difference between people buying something and it being good. Because people can buy stuff because there's nothing else to buy at the time. Maybe it's the time that people all want to go back to the cinema. And people go and watching it because it's really awesome. Like, the first film wasn't expected to do that well. It did incredible because it was such a great film. Everyone told everyone about it. And everyone went to watch it. This time, it was all right. It was all right. And this whole relaunch process where they're going back to Sidney Prescott because they fired Michelle Barrera, I believe that's her name, and then Jenna Ortega quit alongside that. So that they were the relaunch in Scream 5, and then they were back in Scream 6. So now they're back out of it. So you've had to relaunch it again in 7. So where does number 8 go from this? Obviously, they've put Sidney Prescott's daughter in it, so that's going to be probably where it's going to go moving forward, and her friendship group, although a lot of them have taken out in this one. Maybe she's going to be at uni in the next one, like her mum was at uni in the second one. I don't know, but yeah, for something that I've been really looking forward to, I was quite disappointed in. Yeah. Another film that I watched, actually, while we're on the subject of new films, Pizza Movie. Pizza Movie is essentially Harold and Kumar Get the Munchies, or Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, depending on where you live in the world. It has different names. And what did I think of it? I thought it was good. I thought it was a good, solid film. It's about two lads at uni. They take some mind-expanding chemicals, let's just say, and they then decide that they really, really need pizza, and they're trying to get pizza. And so it's just like Harold and Kumar get the munchies, essentially, only they're trying to get pizza, which got me thinking. It got me thinking, this film, because don't want to talk about this now. No, I won't talk about this now. I'll talk about that in a future episode. But it did really get me thinking, because I want to write films. I do. It's what I studied at uni. It's what I studied at college. Getting into stand-up is great, and I want to do stand-up for the rest of my life, but you need something alongside it to pay the bills, essentially. So if I could get a film out there, maybe write a couple of films, put that alongside me stand-up, use that to build my profile, that might be a very interesting thing to do. I'd love to be an actor in films. I don't know how good I'd be as an actor. I don't know who would even give me a chance, but if someone would give me a chance, I'd love to be an actor. That's one thing that I probably need an agent for, is to try and figure out some of these things and get into roles and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's one of them, innit? It's one of them. But yeah, I'd love to write films, and I think what I might start to do is start to put some stuff, because I've got some stuff together already, to be completely honest with you. And I've been discussing it with my mate Damien from college, because he works in the television industry, so I've been discussing some of the things with him, and we keep meaning to meet up, but schedules like don't align and stuff like that. But yeah, it is going to be something that I think I'm going to work on a lot more going forward, alongside, because I love stand-up so much, and it's one of the things that, like, how good you feel after coming off stage and like performing. While you're on stage, it feels so good. Like, yeah, I was having so much fun this weekend on stage at Creatures, and then for Manford's Comedy Club. And if you could bottle that feeling, like, what people would pay for that, what people would pay for like a bottle of like that absolute adrenaline, like burst of excitement, and whether it's the adulation, I don't know, I've not even psychoanalyzed it, but it just feels great just to be able to get up there, perform, bring joy to a room full of strangers, a bunch of people who don't know who you are, and you can bring joy to them. And it's one of the reasons why I love doing stand-up, and Islamically it's a good thing to do, like spreading this kind of like positiveness and making people happy, making people laugh is Islamically a good thing to do. And it is something that I do like, and to like the fact that I can do that, not just to stand up itself, but bring joy to people. And having those conversations with Danny and with Jez, the lad I went to school with, and the woman that I used to work with, having those conversations where you can hear what they're saying and how much they're like enjoyed what I did, and whether it was a surprise or not, or whether they looked at it like it's what they expected, or it doesn't matter. But either way, however much they enjoyed it and what they're saying to me, it's such a beautiful connection moment, because I don't have that connection besides after I perform with anyone else that I went to school with, or that I used to work with, or whatever. But when they come up to you afterwards and they have that genuine appreciation for what you're doing, it does make you feel great, and it does make me really think like, oof, I want to make a full-time career out of this in stand-up. I want to be the guy who's like traveling all around the world and doing stand-up, and always writing new material and writing new things for different places, and going to places and having them feel like, oh my God, I appreciate that he's come here, and he spent the time to figure out stuff that's going on where we live. Yeah, it's an amazing thing, isn't it? And it's an amazing thing. I've been thinking a lot recently about what's it called, like my dress sense. This is something that I wasn't really planning on talking about, but I've been thinking a lot recently about my dress sense, and how like I'm almost 40 really, if you think about it, and I need to just change how I dress? Like, I've got a backwards cap on now, and I've got an Obey t-shirt on. Is this how I'm 40? I mean, I've literally had this t-shirt since I was in my 20s. Probably my earliest 20s as well, to be honest. I've had this t-shirt that long. That's why it's so cracked, if you can see it there. And I think, do I need to change how I dress? Do I need to dress in a different way? What do 40-year-old men even dress like? Or do all 40-year-old men now not dress their age? Because that's the thing in society, isn't it? That, like, if you look at, like, people who were 20 years old in the 1940s and 1920s, like 100 years ago, they dressed like how 100-year-old men dress now. And now everyone wears a hoodie, but, like, back, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, only like teenagers and below wore hoodies, really. Not everyone was wearing a hoodie, but now a hoodie's become a thing that, like, you see like 50-year-olds wearing hoodies, but they didn't used to. And I feel like, yeah, do I have to change the way that I dress, or it just is what's expected a late 30s person to be dressing? Is that changing? Like, is that a societal thing that changes? I wear the same trainers all the time. I wear Yeezys or Jordans. Now Yeezys out, I basically only wear Jordans. I used to wear like Air Max trainers because, again, those were massive when I was a little kid and I couldn't afford them. So then when I could afford them, I started to buy those. So maybe, am I going to go back to Air Max? Am I going to go back to that? Those are like, are they teenager shoes? I don't know. I honestly don't know. The beard's gone. I think I mentioned this in a podcast recently. It's been gone for about a week or two now. And people have been mentioning it. And I don't know what length of a beard I want, because I used to just completely shave it off. But I feel like now it's like a nice length with me hair here. So again, I don't know. What do you reckon to that? Do you reckon I should maybe leave it at this length and then always trim it down to this length? I'm getting white hairs in my beard. That's something that's sneaking up on me. Like, yeah, I probably should be doing that. I probably should be getting married and having kids. And I mean, I'd love to get married and have kids. That is something that I would love to do, and I would like to have on the agenda, especially before I'm 40. And that, tell you what, 40 is coming up quick to me now. 40 is coming up quick, and I look at my life and I feel like genuinely I've had an interesting life and I've enjoyed my life, and I've not been unhappy with it. But then I look at it and I think, what is a good life by the time you're 40? Like, what kind of things would you think someone else should achieve by the time they're 40? And I know everyone has like their own race and their own kind of life that they're living, but I do kind of think of these things, and I do think, like, just for myself, and it's not even about how other people judge me, it's how I'm judging me, and like, because you don't judge yourself. That's the big thing is, and I think that's how time gets away from people, because you don't judge yourself. You're just living life, and then before you know it, you are in your late 30s, and you're like, where's the time gone? Like, it feels like just yesterday I was like running around the playground with my mates, playing football, playing TIG, playing cops and robbers, or in high school, and like, you're starting to figure out that, oh, like, you like girls, like, but how do you talk to girls? And I don't want to talk to girls. What if my dad finds out? He'd probably be really mad at me. And I don't want to go too far with a girl, because imagine if I did and I got a girl pregnant in school. Your dad would have flipped, but then all of a sudden you're 37 and you're still not got your girl pregnant, so you're like, I probably should have done this by now. I probably should have done it 10 years ago when I was in my 20s, to be honest with you. But again, you don't really think about it. You're just living in the moment. You're thinking about what's fun. When I was in my late 20s, I was thinking more about, like, where am I going in life? What the kind of things that I'm doing? And that's why I started stand-up when I was 29. Because I was thinking about, like, I've got all this, at the time I'm looking at it going, right, you've got all this life left. You're in your 20s still. What do you want to do? You need to make a run at something, doesn't matter what it is, make a run at something now, leg up to it and boot it as hard as you can and see if it will fly. Rubbish analogy, I know. But that's literally what I was thinking. And I remember I started jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and I started stand-up comedy around the same time, just before I was 30. Because I wanted to get those things out of the way. And I wanted to do them because I also wanted to, like, challenge myself as well. I wanted to kind of, because we all live in our comfort zones and we all stay in our comfort zones. And it's great to be in your comfort zone, but you don't have as much growth when you stay in your comfort zone. And I feel like I've definitely had growth as a human being just by doing stand-up comedy. And the fact that I took that risk to do it when I was 29, and like I said, now I'm in my late 30s because I've been doing it almost 8 years now. You look at it and you're like, it was a good decision to make. It was a good decision to make. The Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu thing was a great thing as well, because I was getting beaten up by like 20-year-olds. I was getting beaten up by like 20-year-olds, and I'm like 29, and I'm thinking, this is embarrassing, but you keep going, you get a little bit better, and then the pandemic happened. And when the pandemic happened, you couldn't train anymore because you couldn't be in close quarters with someone. You could bring someone if you lived with them, but I wasn't living with anyone, so I couldn't bring anyone to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So that's when I quit. That's when I stopped doing it. And I also made the decision in the pandemic when all that was going on, and I was like, right, you can't go outside, you can't gig. As soon as things open up again, get straight back onto stand-up, set yourself some goals, and start getting at it and see what you can do. And genuinely, this is another good thing to do as well, is you look at yourself from a certain time and you look at yourself now. Like if 2019 me going into 2020, my plan was to do 100 gigs that year. Now 100 gigs for me this year would probably be a quiet year, to be honest, if I'd only done 100 gigs. And they'd probably all be paid now as well. Whereas back then it was just 100, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's open mics, whether it's just an unpaid spot on nights, whatever it was, I wanted to do 100 gigs. That was the goal for 2020 when the pandemic happened. So if December 31st, 2019 me could look at me now, they would be very happy and be like, wow, I can't believe it. If I could have a genuine conversation with you, like, I cannot believe what you do. I can't believe you're getting paid by Manford's Comedy Club to go and tell jokes to hundreds of people in the theatre on a Saturday night, bank holiday weekend, and a woman that you used to work with has come to see you. Well, Danny Whittle from school came and it was his stag do, and he spent his stag do watching you do stand-up, and he really enjoyed it. I'd feel in such a privileged position, and I'd be very, very happy with where I am. But as much as I'm happy with where I am, I feel like it is important to judge yourself as well and go, okay, don't just judge it from the back point of view, judge it from a future point of view. What is future you going to say to be like, listen, if I was in my late 30s now, you don't know how lucky you've got it. You don't know why you've still got your body working for the way you do, even though I've got that lump on my foot and it's tough to walk right now at a speed. While you've got these things going for you, you need to get this done. You need to do this, this, and this. You need to put these things in place. And there's like, getting married, having kids, starting a family, doing those things is something that I do want to do. So I want to be, young enough to still play around with my kids when they want to kick about on the field without throwing me back out, which I'll be honest, I probably would throw me back out now if I had a 5-year-old and I had to go out for a kickabout with him now. I probably would be like that. But I think it's important to kind of put these things in place. So I'm in this kind of zone mentally at the moment where, right, what can you do now that's going to set up your future so that you are in a better place in the future, so that 50-year-old Adam is looking back going, you did the right thing in your late 30s, mate. You did the right thing in your late 30s. Those things that you put into place then, they've really put me in a great position over these last 10 years or so. And I'm having a very, very good life now. And that's what I want to do. And hopefully, touch wood, inshallah, however you want to talk about it, I want to be in that position in the future where I can look back at me now and be like, you put that good work in. I don't want to look back at myself and be like, you were lazy. I look back at like 29-year-old me, like 39, I'm not even 39. Late 30s me looks back at 25-year-old me and goes, you were a little bit lackadaisical. You didn't really do enough. 27-year-old me, 28-year-old me, I feel like those are real wilderness years, to be honest with you, 27, 28, where I didn't really do much. I was just kind of turning my wheels. I was just living life. I was enjoying myself, but I wasn't really achieving anything. I think I got a new job when I was 27, maybe 28. So that kind of counts, to be honest with you. That does count. But besides that one thing of getting that job, there was probably a lot more stuff I could have done. Now, to be fair, I did a lot for my health in those years. I was going to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. I was playing hockey. But there are other things that I could have been doing to really set up my future. But I don't know. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh on myself. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. Do other people think like this? Do you look back at yourself and do you think you wasted time? And because I think, don't beat yourself up about it either. I think you shouldn't beat yourself up and go, I should be in a better position than I am now. I'm not a millionaire yet. Or some people think like that. I don't have a Ferrari Testarossa. I don't know the names of cars. I don't have this thing. I really wish I had it. Like, don't beat yourself up, but look at it and go, right, what can I do now? How can I maximise this time now to improve myself. And this is why I do the podcast as well. The reason why I started doing this podcast, you'll see the numbers on this podcast. They're not 1 million views an episode. Handfuls of people watch these episodes, right? But the reason why I do them is because I think, right, if I'm going to be at home, do something that's going to benefit you. So me doing this podcast benefits me because I get to talk for an hour. I have to try and make it entertaining. I have to keep thinking of topics to fill this hour to get through time so that when I'm on stage, nothing's a problem. It doesn't matter what is going on. I can talk about what's going on in front of me and I can try and make that funny because I've got the practice here. And sometimes I'll say stuff on air and you'll probably be bored. And sometimes I'll say stuff and you'll laugh. And sometimes you'll be like, that's interesting. I enjoyed this episode. Whatever it is, that's why I do this. And that's why I make use of this 1 hour tonight to get this filmed. Yeah. So what can I do? What can I do in the future? Will I be in 10 years' time looking back going, do you know what, Adam? You made a great decision. Marrying that girl and having kids, that was such a brilliant decision you've made, and you've made your life so much better. Like, these are the things that I think about, and these are the things that I think I should really be doing, like, in the medium term, in the next couple of years. These are probably things that I should be putting in place. So, professionally, I want to keep cracking on with comedy. I want to establish myself as someone who's headliner level. I want people to be able to trust me and go, Adam can go out there, you can trust him as a headliner, and he's going to do a good job. I'll be honest, I feel like I'm at that level. I feel like I'm at the level where you can trust me. But whether that's accurate or not, I don't know. And I feel like it's important to have that belief. But I feel like how many deluded people are there out there who have the belief and aren't at that level. All I can see is I look at my performances and I look at the other things that I'm able to do and I go, wow, if you give me the opportunity to headline as well, you give me that extra time, you give me that extra credence behind you, that extra pressure of the audience is looking at you, go on then, deliver. Oh, I'd love it. And I love it, and I'd love to be able to step up and do it. And yeah, because I headline smaller shows at the moment. I close smaller shows at the moment. Like the one in Sheffield last week, it's not a ticketed gig. But that, like I said, that's capacity of about 90 people. So it's not tiny, that gig. It's a smaller gig. It's not a massive theatre gig, but it's a smaller gig, but it's not a tiny gig. I headline that, I close that, and I do a good enough job to the point where I feel like, do you know what, I was in the right position tonight. I've watched the entire show. I've watched everyone else. I'm the right person to have closing this. I should be doing more of these. Again, it's hard for me to say because I don't like singing my own praises whatsoever. Oh, Adam, you did amazing. I don't like doing that stuff, so it's hard for me to verbalise this stuff. But I do feel ready to start to step into those positions. The only problem is, you kind of need credits behind you in the stand-up world as well. Like, if I'd been on Live at the Apollo, if I'd been on Mock the Week, people would trust me to headline and close their gigs. If I was writing, or I was host of Saturday Night Live UK, or a cast member they call them, people would trust me then to headline their gigs. Then with the level of ability that I got, you mesh that up with the credits, and then that's where you get the opportunity. So you get the credits, ability, they come together, you get the opportunity, then you need to prove it. And if you can smash it out of the park, then if you can roof it, then they go, boom, that was really, really good. We've got an headliner here. Then word starts to spread about you. Oh, Adam didn't close this show and he did really well and da-da-da-da-da. And because that's what happens on the smaller level as well. You do that on the smaller level. People see you on the smaller level. They will let you close their smaller gig, and then you do another smaller gig. Then you do, before you know it, you're closing loads of smaller gigs. You know, you're opening slightly bigger gigs than that. The bigger gigs than that, you're on in the middle. That's kind of how the ecosystem works. Yeah. Whether I am ultimately right there, there's probably headliners who would listen to me right now and be like, Adam, you're not there quite yet. We appreciate your enthusiasm, but you are a little bit deluded. You're not there quite yet. Because there might be parts of the puzzle that I am missing. But I do genuinely think that if I can get some good credits behind me, then I could be like, do you know what? Yes, I'm ready. I'm really ready to to blast off, getting that higher echelon of gig, that higher echelon of spot, and then progress myself even forward. And that's what I want to do again over the next few years. Establish myself, hopefully, touch wood, inshallah, before I'm 40, into those positions. But again, it's tough, man. It's tough because no one owes you anything. And for just as much as I'm saying that, how many other comedians who started around the same time as me feel the same way and feel like they can do it too? Because not a lot of the lads who started around the same time as me are getting those opportunities. Shout out to Ben Silver. He started around the same time as me, although I think he might have been in London before. I can't really remember. I don't think he did. An amount of time that's like way different either way. He's starting to get some of those opportunities now, and it's great to see somebody who's starting around the same time. If you're starting to get some of those opportunities, he's closing gigs like Just a Tonic. He's on the Triple Headliner show at Hot Water Comedy Club. He was there, New Comedian of the Year 2 years ago, I think it was. It's good to see, and it shows you that there is a route to that level. So someone who I see as my peer can inspire me as well, and I don't see anything wrong with being inspired by your peers, and I think it's something that a lot of people like to talk down on the people that they know and the people that they start alongside, they're in a peer group with and be like, because they feel in a competition. I don't feel in a competition with people. I feel in a competition with myself. Like all this thing is right now, it's not about, I think I should get this or this person. I'm not looking about myself going, what's 40-year-old me going to say? What's 50-year-old me going to say about me now? What work did I put in? What didn't I put in? Where can I go? Etc. etc. I feel like I've beaten that horse, haven't I? I've beaten that horse. But yeah, that's where I'm thinking at the moment. And hopefully, I hope those things are in my future, man. I hope those things are in my future now. I can set up a good life, and I want to create a good life for other people as well. But my wife, children, I want to create good lives for them, and I want to be there and support them. Because there's other things as well outside just being a stand-up. Once you have that stuff, whether it's taking them to football practice, taking them to swimming lessons, whatever it is, there's those kind of things that you need to be good at as well. And that's the next chapter of like trying to figure that stuff out. But yeah, but life is about balance, isn't it? Life is about balance ultimately, and getting these things together. Either way, I'm excited about the future. I'm definitely excited, and hopefully I can do myself proud, and I can look back and be happy with myself, and not be kicking myself. Like I do kick myself a little bit about the past. I do. I look back and I go, why didn't you exercise more? Why didn't you get yourself into better condition? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? There's so many things that you could have done that you didn't do, but what did you do? Look at what you did do. Where you, the things that you set yourself up with and stuff like that. And hopefully, anyone out there listening, it might strike a chord with you, and you can do it as well. And maybe you'll go, do you know what? I listened to your, all that Mac you were chatting on your podcast. I listened to it, but actually it struck a chord with me, and I thought it was all right. But yeah, I think that's me for this week. I've enjoyed I like this as well. It's kind of therapy. I like unbearing myself, and I like being honest. Because I feel like we're too guarded. Men, we're too guarded. Oh, yeah, I'll get married when I'm ready, mate. I'll have kids whenever I want. I'll get a missus, and I'll get missus whenever I want a missus, me, mate. And I'll be telling her. There's people like that, and listen, I'm honest about life. You want to strike up a relationship with someone where you're complete partners, and you can make these decisions together, and that's the beauty of life, isn't it? But yeah, with that, I think we're going to call that a pod. Thank you very much for watching. Share it with a friend. Hit the like button. Maybe drop a comment. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'm going to see you very soon with episode 16, inshallah.